What is your biggest struggle that you faced in the last year? Because the show is also about, going out behind the scenes, not just what as successes, but the struggles. So what was your biggest struggle in like the last year or so?
Yeah, there's probably been a couple of big ones. I would say that 𝘃𝗵𝗶𝗄𝗿𝗃 is probably one thing that's really struck me hard.
I didn't even know
Anyone
that's
who's
a
listening,
thing.
that's a made up word, by the way. I think I just made that up. So you can just put that next to my name as a quote from me.
I will do
Christ
that.
Benetti word.
Yeah.
But comparing myself to other people is something that is really hard not to do. And anyone who's at any level struggles from it, I think. And I think it's just understanding that I'm on a different journey to someone else. And even if someone else has just released the software and has already got more user base than what we do, I always just have to like check back in with myself and remind myself that, hey, they've been building up a community for years and they've got already a very successful business that they've got on the back of building this platform. And so don't compare yourself to them because you're still on your journey and you're potentially taking a different path.
Hi, everyone. Today I have Chris. He has agreed to come on the interview with me. I'm so excited to have him here. He is the founder of MembersPro. Now, if you don't know MembersPro is a very popular site where you build up membership sites. And there's some other things in there, but I'm not going to get technical. I'm going to leave that for him. Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. It is refreshing to have somebody on my show that's almost on the same time zone than me and not, in a very late or a very early morning, like in a 3 a.m. or something like that. So thank you so much. Chris is in Australia. You're in Perth, yeah?
Perth, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Can you tell the audience a little bit about you? Where did you come from? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I've been a little bit all over Australia throughout my life. I was born in Perth and then moved to Queensland, where I did the first 12 years of my life. And then we moved back to WA when I started high school. I actually moved to northern WA in a town called Port Hedland. It's a very well-known mining town in Australia. They mine iron ore and salt specifically. So I did high school in Port Hedland, which was pretty interesting. Gave me some pretty good opportunities out of high school to sort of join the mining industry. And so I spent 5 years in the mining industry, got a trade, qualified as a mechanical fitter, and sort of worked there, and very quickly sort of realized it wasn't what I wanted to do. I'm kind of too smart to work in mining industry. And I personally just had desires to build something more substantial for myself over time anyway. So after I qualified my trade, which was about 4 years into the 5, I just started going through the process of discovering things that inspired me. So first of all, like I started with property investing kind of things. That was sort of one of the ways out of mining that I saw. And then I quickly kind of saw that it was going to be a little bit too slow to go through that, to sort of replace my salary and stuff in that industry. And then I came across like entrepreneurship via Robert Kiyosaki. So Rich Dad Poor Dad was like the first non-property investing business book that I read. And then after that, I found, 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss and just a ton of other ones. I basically went down this rabbit hole of the year that I was a qualified tradesman, and I read about a book a week when I was working away in the mines. And I just smashed through content and just absolutely, it opened up my world for inspiration and finding things. And ultimately, I found Russell Brunson and, found the ClickFunnels and the funnel world. And September 2016, I think it was, I got fired from my job, and then I transitioned into an internship with a digital marketing agency in October of that year. And then in January of 2017, I started getting paid for building funnels for people. And it's sort of been a journey of going through that. And, you know, in amongst since then to now, we've co-founded MembersPro and have been building that for a couple of years. And yeah, things are on their way, and it's an exciting process overall.
I just love your MembersPro, you know, the way it looks and feels, because I'm in Marley Jackson's video scaling system course, and obviously she uses your system. Yep. And it's really nice in comparison to what she used before. The layout is awesome. It's just really nice. What inspired you to start that specifically?
Yeah, so great question. We actually saw ClickFunnels and what they were doing. They developed their membership platform in 2014 or so, and it was kind of outdated then already, to be honest. So MembersPro started as a plugin for ClickFunnels. We would plug into their membership platform, give it additional features, give it better functionality, and you know, tracking and stuff like that. When ClickFunnels first released, and even up until 2018 or so, they literally had no tracking. You didn't know where your members were at. You really couldn't manage your members or anything like that. And so we plugged into that. We fixed a lot of those things. We allowed for date release and expiry of content and gamification elements and things of those manners. And then we started to see ClickFunnels implementing the things that we were fixing. It was like they were scrambling to fix the thing mistakes that they didn't actually pay much attention to in the beginning.
Yes.
And that really that told us that we had to stop playing in someone else's playground. And from that moment, we decided to start developing a standalone platform. MembersPro transitioned from being a plugin to like a fully fledged membership platform by itself.
Yes.
And we've had a couple of iterations of that, and we're about to release a brand new software that we've been redeveloping for about 18 months now. So we've just been on a process of refining and making our system better and better over time, depending on what the market needs. You know, what we really look at what competitors are doing and how we can implement things better, and where we see the membership and online e-learning space going in the next sort of 10 years. So we're really forward thinking about everything that we're implementing. And it's been a slow journey because we've got a limited team of unicorns, but we're getting really close to kicking some massive goals. And I'm, you know, even from your feedback, like we've only just scratched the surface for what MembersPro is going to be able to do in the short amount of time. So it's an exciting journey overall.
That is so exciting. I interviewed somebody yesterday and they had such great advice. And they said that because they have an online fitness platform, like they train people online. And he said they're not thinking like whatever they put in place, it is putting something in place that's not just going to be for say 200 or 300 people, but they're thinking ahead even 10 years. So if they suddenly have an influx of like say 500 people in 1 month, is their system going to be able to handle this? Have you guys thought of that process as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. So that's a fantastic question as well. Right now, MembersPro is not built on auto-scaling servers. However, the new platform that we're releasing in next month is going to be built on fully fledged Amazon auto-scaling servers. So we could handle, you know, theoretically up to 10 million users overnight. And our servers would just automatically adjust, meaning we'd add new servers automatically. It's all set up so that if there's influx of data, influx of people, influx of traffic, whatever, our servers will sort of raise up or scale up to match that demand. And there will be zero downtime. There'll be zero hiccups. There'll be zero slow loadings or anything like that. Everything will be optimized and run as fast as it possibly can always.
That is incredible because there's so many platforms these days, and I'm not going to mention names, but it's ones that we all use, and it's exactly the same thing because it takes long to hang, like it hangs when it loads, or it's slow with inside, and it's so frustrating when you're watching training on something and then it just goes like this, and it's like, oh, this is so frustrating. So it's really awesome that you guys are actually thinking ahead and fixing those things that can potentially happen. You know, you fix a problem before it actually arises, which is pretty cool.
Well, we've had a couple of years of sort of looking at what's actually happening, how things have affected our members and then their members as well, or our customers and their members. And so MembersPro, like I mentioned 18 months in development, as we've been redeveloping the software, we've really been able to look at things in hindsight and just sort of go, cool, like this is going to be absolutely crucial for us scaling this business. Like this is going to make sure that we have a longevity platform for the next 10 to 20 years without needing a big new development. Yeah. So like we're really developing MembersPro for the next 20 years. And that's ultimately why it's taken so long for us to rebuild the system. And it's going to just be done right. We're going to be able to implement new things really seamlessly. There won't be any hiccups for our customers, even just writing code. Things like developers coming through into the platform, they can't write a single line of code that's going to implement a new feature without the system checking that the code will actually be workable in the system. It will give it like the developer an error if it's not going to work in the code before they actually even deploy the code. So we've got like even these like AI sort of code checking systems in place so that like it's impossible to screw up the platform.
Yeah.
And then even from a protection standpoint, MembersPro is like built-in hubs. So like even if something were to happen, only a very, very small portion of MembersPro would actually go down. It wouldn't be like a system-wide error. It would be like this one little bit feature or this one little thing that would go down. It'd be really easy identifiable because we've got the reporting and the AI sort of stuff telling us what's actually wrong. We can run tests with a click of a button instead of like trying to search through code for errors and stuff like that. So like longevity is MembersPro's sort of intention with everything that we're doing from now on.
That is impressive. Wow. Well done.
That's only the surface. Yeah.
That is so freaking cool. Okay. So I want to dive back again a little bit. So before you started building funnels and you were on your, information consuming stage, as we all are, I've got like, this is only a small portion of my books. What is that thing that you thought, yeah, there you go. What was that thing that made you decide to build funnels? Was it something that happened to you accidentally, or did you decide, okay, this is something I want to go into?
Yeah, I didn't know. The internship was a really good opportunity for me to understand and discover what I was interested in. So I wasn't paid for my internship. I showed up every single day like a full-time employee, and I worked for free for a number of months. And so like anyone who's listening or watching, if you don't know what you want to do, like offer to work or help someone for free and just try and find out what you want to do. Like for me, I work for a digital marketing agency that focused on Facebook ads. So with Facebook ads, there's obviously the advertising side, there's the copywriting, there's sales funnels, there's all of those sort of things, and sales as well. So I kind of tried a bit of everything. I went through Facebook ad training. I tried to run some ads for some local businesses, like as a sandbox to see how that would perform. I built some funnels in 𝘃𝗶𝗲𝗄, and ultimately funnels just excited me the most out of all of those things. And so I decided to just be the funnel guy in the business, and they didn't have one at the time. And I quickly sort of just became really good at funnels, and I actually went and participated in a designathon at ClickFunnels HQ in August of 2017 and became the #1 funnel designer in the Southern Hemisphere after even just 8 months of building funnels full time. So I quickly built some accolades, and it was just something that I was naturally sort of good at, and I didn't know that I would be good at it. It just came with sort of like implementing it. Like I probably had 5,000 hours under my belt by August of that year. So I just committed to doing it full time and making myself better and better over time.
Yeah. And that is obviously where the focus comes in. Hence, this podcast is called Unleash Your Focus for a reason, because I like to go behind the scenes to understand what really makes people successful and what is that thing that drove you to actually become successful. So obviously you did it for a long time, and 5,000 hours of building funnels. That is incredibly impressive. Did you enjoy the process, like with your new business when you build that out in comparison to the funnels? Was it the same kind of a process for you?
Well, MembersPro was MembersPro was ultimately on my side. I was the marketing head to MembersPro, and that was always the intention. Yeah. So the development stuff, I've got a CTO partner. He's like the technical person behind the platform.
Yeah.
He's also got like a little bit of a marketing brain as well. So we sort of jam on some stuff. But ultimately, I was like the person that would create awareness around MembersPro, that would sell MembersPro, that would onboard new members and help with customer support. And that's still my role today. And 𝘃𝗵𝗵𝗿 basically handles everything after fulfillment. So like all the development, all of the new feature requests, all the bugs. And he heads a team that we have now, which is slowly growing. We're almost at 4 developers over there. For me, I still jump in, do the website building, the funnel building, the support and customer care, onboarding sort of stuff. So I'm really everything sort of pre-sale and then sort of customer success. And then 𝘃𝗵𝗵𝗿's everything sort of behind the scenes development and whatnot.
So you're just a geek. I'm also a geek. I completely understand it.
Yeah.
So your focus at the moment is obviously to grow MembersPro. Can you tell the audience a little bit about how you stay focused? Because as entrepreneurs, we always have these shiny object syndromes, and you have to keep yourself on track. How do you keep yourself on this path of focus?
That's a good question. And I definitely get distracted. I like to play games. I'm doing like an art class right now. So like I definitely have intentional distractions. The gaming stuff is maybe a little bit unintentional, but if I finish a game, I won't need to play it anymore. So that's okay. If I start something, I'll just finish it as quick as possible, and then I don't need to play it anymore. For me, staying focused, that's an interesting question. I would say that I have a bigger passion and sort of excitement behind MembersPro. I ultimately want to have our customers have awesome success. So when people share their success, that helps me know that I'm on my path to helping them the best. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, MembersPro is kind of a hierarchy where we sit at like, we sit at the very last thing that matters. Our very end user, which is you as an example in 𝘵𝗲𝗿's program, the members of our customers is the most important sort of factor to MembersPro's success. We want to see people, have a better sort of experience when they're going through programs. We want to see them complete the programs more. We want to see them be rewarded for completing programs. We want to see them enjoy that stuff. We just want the experience and everything to be absolutely amazing as they're going through. If that happens, ultimately, Joy would become a sort of referral machine for 𝘵𝗲𝗿 because she's had success. She's enjoyed the experience. She's going to tell other people about 𝘵𝗲𝗿's program, right?
Yes.
That helps 𝘵𝗲𝗿 win more by having more sales, by having people talking about her in a positive way, by having people actually complete her content and get results with it. So therefore, 𝘵𝗲𝗿 would get a better result with using MembersPro because of the experience that the end member has had. And so that's how I sort of look at the hierarchy of like MembersPro having success. If we help the members have a win, they help the customers have a win. The customers ultimately help MembersPro have a win at the end of the day because they would become a referring raving fan as well. Yes. So that's basically what excites me to come and show up every day and stay focused on MembersPro. And with those things coming into play, that basically makes me want to think of new ways to bring new people in because I see that our existing customers have so much success. So when it comes down to it, to answer your question in a shorter way, I have a goal to help increase the completion rates in the education space because right now it's like 4%, which is terrible. Really I want to see it at least 20%. I want to see people actually completing the stuff they have and being rewarded to and being reminded to, or knowing that the person that they bought from is actually there and is there to support them. And I want to try and help like sort of bridge that gap between you manually having to follow up with people to sort of excite them to go through your content, to sort of building systems and sort of automation plays into the picture so that you can do what you're best at, which for most marketers is marketing.
Yes.
And then sort of have the fulfillment piece sort of automated and just like optimized so that the end user can go through your content, feel excited about it, and ultimately have a win. And so that's really, I mean, ultimately that's what excites me. And that's why I am staying driven on bringing new customers into MembersPro, creating new sort of marketing channels or communication channels to build awareness around MembersPro. Because I mean, ultimately, when we look at us versus competitors, we're still very small and very not well known. We're kind of known in the marketing space or the ClickFunnels marketing space, because that's even a smaller bubble. Because we have some big users or big people from that space using us, like Steve Larson and 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗃 and Stacey Martino and a few other big, Josh Forty, etc. So yeah, I'm basically just like my job right now is to look at how else I can build awareness around our platform, because we know it's awesome and we know people who go through it are going to get awesome results ultimately at the end of the day. So that's what keeps me sort of motivated and focused on building our system.
I love the fact that you say if you can do automation in the back, because I'm going to be very honest here. I bought Marley's VSS in April. And I only now, the last month, I'm very focused and driven to actually complete it. And I'm on this mission because purely I just didn't have time, because I've got a marketing agency. So, you know, funnels and all of those things comes in play. And it, you know, it's projects that you build out and, you know, have to roll out. And I think if I had triggers to say you are this far in your module, for example, you know, kind of push me gently to say, well, when are you actually going to complete this type thing? That's the type of things that when you actually build out the course, I don't think the person building it out or putting the content in is thinking about that. They're just thinking, well, people are going to complete it. But then before you know it, it's a whole month and you haven't actually done that next section yet, because it just happens. And it's quite sad.
Well,
so
yeah, I mean, I'll even just see that and raise it, because what we're thinking about implementing is different communication channels. So not just like emails, but like implementing text messaging or push notifications and things of those manners. But then even just having things set up so that, say, if Joy doesn't log in for 7 days, send her an email. Hey, you know, I see that you haven't yet started this, or I see that you're 15% of the way through this. Like, I'm here for you. I want you to jump back in because I want you to get better results with your YouTube. And just having things that are very specific for the courses that you have. And then just like being very specific to the people going through the journey. So MembersPro is going to implement automations and triggers around certain member actions that allow you to send certain communication messages, whether it's, you know, email, text message, push notifications as an example. And so not logging in is one thing, only getting a certain way through is another thing. You know, engaging in the community might be one thing, or getting certain amounts of gamification points might be another thing. So there's a lot of different things that we'll be thinking about as triggers for automations. And then the automations ultimately can do what you want as well. Like, it can be a communication piece, but it could also be send me an email when this person's, say, 50% complete. You could also maybe put that trigger into 𝘃𝗶𝗲𝗄𝗃 to maybe send yourself a bonjour so that you can send that person a personalized video as well. So there's like different levels of what you can actually do and think about. And it's kind of just like your creativity is the limit at the end of the day. So we really just want like the experience for you as a member to feel personalized, customized, and that the creator is there to support you and actually wants you to get a result. Because I don't want there to just continue to be like this pandemic of people just marketing programs because they're fantastic marketers and then just like completely lacking on the fulfillment. Like, fulfilling on your program is like, and should be one of your highest priorities. Making sales is fantastic, but if you can't fulfill on things in a meaningful way, then you're ultimately not going to have people that get results with your content, and they're probably going to be a bad referral for you. They'll tell people that your stuff is like not amazing, you know, like, and so if we can help bridge that gap, then I think we're going to be on our way to having a super successful platform overall.
Definitely. And I completely, and that what you're talking about now, that's exactly what platforms are lacking, and you will bridge that gap. And I have not heard of anybody else that actually does that. So people, by the way, Forbes have said, I read an article that says by 2020 something, I've got the exact that, the e-learning is going to be worth $325 billion. So now is the time to get onto Chris's platform and build out your content. We will drop the links. Okay. So what is your biggest struggle that you faced in the last year? Because the show is also about, going out behind the scenes, not just what as successes, but the struggles. So what was your biggest struggle in like the last year or so?
Yeah. There's probably been a couple of big ones. I would say that 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝗄𝗿𝗃 is probably one thing that's really struck me hard. Anyone who's listening, that's a made up word, by the way. I think I just made that up. So you can just put that next to my name as a quote from me.
I will do that.
Christ Benetti word.
Yeah.
But comparing myself to other people is something that is really hard not to do. And anyone who's at any level struggles from it, I think. And I think it's just understanding that I'm on a different journey to someone else. And even if someone else has just released the software and has already got more user base than what we do, I always just have to like check back in with myself and remind myself that, hey, they've been building up a community for years and they've got already a very successful business that they've got on the back of building this platform. And so don't compare yourself to them because you're still on your journey and you're potentially taking a different path, and you're maybe not as an experienced of a marketer as some of those people as well. So it's just like checking in with myself and just reminding myself that I'm only, about 4 short years into this journey. And so I'm very small in comparison to a lot of some of the other people who are here.
Yes.
And I'm kind of taking a different approach to most of them as well. Not many people are building scaling software that's going to last for the next 10 years like we are. A lot of people just white label stuff, or a lot of people just use a competitor's software or something like that. And they, or maybe they just build Chrome extension software, and none of those things are bad by any means. It's just a different approach to what we're doing. So comparisonitis is definitely something that has been a massive struggle for me. Besides that, I would say like keeping focused and maintaining focus as well is a struggle sometimes as well. When it comes back to it, having people have wins with our content and success is something that, like I said, excites me. Yeah. So just checking back in with our members and seeing how they're going with things, or even I went on a big rampage of getting like 10 or 15 different case studies from even some of our biggest sort of users.
Yeah.
That excited me so much. We overnight had 10 raving case studies, and the things that people were saying about our customer support, how easy MembersPro is to use, the results that their customers have been having, all of those things, just excited the crap out of me. And I just wanted to like get going on like marketing MembersPro, because it reassured me that our platform is doing the right thing. And our platform is like, it's a really an awesome gem in the sea of other membership platforms, as an example. So that was like a nice fire under my butt. So that's probably 2 of the biggest things that I personally struggle with in business.
𝗃𝗵𝗶𝗄𝗿𝗃. I can't even say that. I'm going to put that next to your name. So I like the fact that you said in 4 short years, and I'm putting emphasis on short because a lot of people, and I used to coach people and I've just stopped at the moment just because I've got too much going on, but then they expect to have results that somebody have after 10 years in the journey, and they're in their first year, and people don't understand it's a stepping stones to get there. Do you have a framework or anything like that you can share with the audience on potentially getting to, getting yourself in that space to say, you know what, you have to take the steps to build your business?
For me, I started with a digital marketing agency. I think we started in 2018. So I was actually an employee up until, I would say mid 2018. So I didn't actually start my business myself until then. When I did, like I said, I started with a digital marketing agency specializing in sales funnels. The biggest things that helped me get to a decent level of success was working with influential people for little to no money. And I've got a very strong belief of like, you should either charge what you're worth or don't charge anything kind of thing. Don't discount yourself. Working for free isn't working for free. There's usually some awesome ramifications that can come from that. So when I first started my funnel agency, I struggled for a decent amount of months, probably about 4 months. I couldn't even pay myself for a few of those months as well. Like, it was a big hustle to like find clients for the first time after not being an employee. The best thing that I did, I worked with a very influential person in the ClickFunnels space, 𝗃𝗶𝗲𝗄𝗏𝗿.
Oh yeah.
And she became sort of a referral like gem for me. Like, I very quickly started working. Probably my next big client was 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗏𝗿𝗃 that I worked with, and then Stacey Martino, Alex Sharfin, cie𝗁𝗵𝗿𝗄𝗏𝗿. I started working with like all of these absolute mammoths of people because I was able to start working or give value to someone who was already influential for free. And so I say that it's easier to borrow authority than to create authority. So by working with someone who is already, or who has authority already, it was able to sort of bring up my level of authority with them. So by just being associated with them, by being their funnel person, and we worked together for probably about a year and a half, by being that go-to person, that made me become the default go-to person for all of their clients or all of their friends or all of the people that they were connected to. And so my roster of rock stars just skyrocketed. And I was able to work with like a lot of really awesome people. So I would say if you're starting with a service-based business, then definitely look at who can be a sort of domino for you to then work with other awesome people. Offer them free value. Depending on what you're doing for them, look at what they are lacking in. So Rachel's funnels, when I started working with her, like, they sucked. So that was a very easy thing for me to go in and do. And not only just making her funnels better, but we ultimately increased her conversion rates of her core funnel by 4 times.
Wow.
And we did that in a month. So just going through and like having my like genius funnel lens, like I was able to just like explode her offer almost. And then that just not only wanted her to work with me more, but then those results speak very clearly and other people wanted to work with me. So what is it that you do? Who is lacking in what you do? How can you offer free value to them? And then I didn't go in with the expectation that Rachel was going to tell other people. Most of the time, if the person you're working for or giving free value to is a fantastic person, they'll shout your name from the rooftop anyway. Like, if you talk to Marley at any one point in the day, I'm sure she'll mention Christ Benetti at least once. Like, especially if you're in her mastermind, it's like a daily occurrence that all of her mastermind members and students, they hear about my name in a very positive manner, sort of every single day. So you'll end up building raving fans if you do amazing work for people. And I just recommend, I'm a big fan of starting for free and just having that humbleness about yourself, especially if you're in a point of like, I don't really have clients or I'm struggling to get paid. You might as well just do it for free. And don't feel like you're hungry for a sale or anything like that. Just go in, be cool about it, give some value. And that's ultimately what helped sort of build up my funnel business. And we did multiple 6 figures in the first year of business straight out the gate. So that was a really, really, really awesome thing that I did to get started into being successful and then having sort of a success journey following that.
Yeah, that is really amazing advice. because people really struggle to get going, you know, get that first client. I remember when I got my first client, I was like, oh, this is amazing. But I remember it wasn't the easiest thing to do as well. So what do you attribute to your success? Except now, obviously, networking and having that, but as a personal thing, what do you attribute to your success?
I would say that like my success drives from just me. I've got a big desire for not like going with the societal norms. Like I said, I worked in mining for 5 years,
yeah.
And just seeing the mindset of other people around me, that was a big enough driver straight out the gate. That paired with me not wanting to work forever, and that paired with me being interested in money and sales and marketing, like that ultimately drove me to just jumping out and committing fully to the process of, like, at the end of the day, I didn't know if I was going to be a marketer. I didn't know if I was going to, you know, be successful whilst working for an internship, but at least I tried and I committed fully. Like I said, there was actually 2 interns that started with me. I was the only one that showed up full office hours and every single day.
Right.
The other person showed up like once a week for like a couple hours and then popped back out. Now, not everyone is fortunate enough to be able to like have savings and stuff to be able to continue to live and whatnot whilst doing these things. But most of us have at least a few hours a day spare to work on things that we are inspired to work on.
Yes.
So I would just say that, like, when I have the inspiration for something, I've got just like an unwilling commitment and drive. Like, I get done. Like, I'll get something done and I'll commit to it fully. That, I think that's probably one of my best qualities, really. Like, I can be kind of distracted and sometimes lazy and doing things, but when I'm like inspired to do something, I'll get it done. Like, that's cool. The kind of person that I am. I'm definitely a starter, and I'll just commit. I'll use my team to help me finish things. But I'll get stuff done when I'm inspired to. So
that is so cool. I actually cannot see you in mining outfit. Like, when you said you were in mining, I was like, that picture does not work for me. So I think
I have a photo from TAFE. I'll send it to you.
Oh, you have to. I really want to see that, because I cannot picture you. It's just, it doesn't sit with me. It's like, there's just so much wrong with that sentence. Even, you know, you just can't do it.
I look pretty good. We had a yellow and blue outfit, and I look pretty good. So, yeah, you'll see.
Okay, I'm very excited to see that. Okay, so currently, you obviously, you know, MembersPro, well, in my circles that I'm in, everybody else that I know actually knows MembersPro. So that's a good thing for you. What are you currently doing to market MembersPro? Do you have a plan in place for that? I'm assuming you do, considering you're a marketer. So what do you currently do to market your business?
Yeah, so MembersPro has been pretty successful via word of mouth up until now.
Yeah.
Definitely a big ploy is to get big ClickFunnels users onto the platform as like a first ditch attempt at sort of customer collection of ClickFunnels users. We just know that their membership stuff sucks. So we're doing a disservice by not getting anyone who uses that over to MembersPro. Sorry, Joy. Sorry, Joy. After this call, Joy's signing up for MembersPro. Anyway, so that's like sort of our first level of like, this is what we're going to do to get new users on board. We're actually doing a experience offer upgrade for anyone who uses ClickFunnels. We'll do migration to MembersPro for free. We'll help you get set up on the platform, and it's no additional cost to our monthly membership of the platform itself. Wow! So that's a big thing that we're trying to push out there.
That's impressive.
Beyond that,
so if somebody already has, like, say, 30 videos and they want to move from ClickFunnels to MembersPro, you will help them to migrate?
Yeah, we'll do it all for free. Yeah, even if you have up to 3 separate memberships, we'll move all of that into MembersPro. So 3 different courses, 3 different offers, we'll move that all into MembersPro for free.
I have a client for you. which is my client, which is going to become your client after the school. We'll talk.
Awesome.
Okay. Yes, and
so that's like our initial attempt, and like people like Steve Larson, when we moved Steve over, when we moved 𝗃𝗶𝗶𝗄𝗏 over, those guys had like 20 memberships. We moved that over for them because they signed up for anyone who signs up for our yearly plan will move like all of your stuff over no matter what. So when they signed up for our yearly plan, we basically we moved all their content over. We helped with resetting up all of their integrations. We helped with sort of adding the members and migrating them over as well, setting up all the custom domains and course covers and design and whatnot. So like we did a full out like service that should have cost like thousands of dollars for free to get those people on our platform as core users. And now if you ask Josh, if you ask Steve, if you ask Stacy, if you ask Marley, they'll all rave about MembersPro, not from just a service perspective, but also from a platform perspective and how much I mean, Steve had so many customer support tickets when using the old system. Moving to MembersPro, it's like almost eliminated all of his customer support issues from a technical standpoint. So MembersPro has like been incremental for him to have more success with his fulfillment. So that's like the first thing. Other things beyond that for awareness is we run testimonial ads on Facebook, and they're mainly just video ads, so people can just like be aware of MembersPro, see that people have awesome feedback around our platform. And I always ask for honest feedback for MembersPro, and it's most like 99% of the time it's fantastic feedback. Beyond that, we are about to release a podcast called the Membership Marketing Podcast, and that's ultimately going to be like an entry point for MembersPro. MembersPro is going to be the sponsor of that show. I would say the sole sponsor. I probably won't have anyone else on there. And then besides that, like it's a bit of word of mouth from other people. And then we've actually got a couple of marketing partners in MembersPro as well. They have very high level connections. They do JVs with 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝗄𝗏 and Roland Frazier and things, people of that stature, even digital marketer. And so when MembersPro is ready, we're going to basically explode our platform via the other channels that they have access to. We don't want to tarnish any relationships there. So we're just waiting for the platform to be like at its absolute peak. And then they'll start to introduce MembersPro to some very high level players that will use it as well. Hopefully 𝗃𝗵𝗶𝗄𝗏, that would be amazing.
That would be so cool.
That'd be so cool. Anyway, so we're working up to that point, and that's sort of like a longer term play. But right now we're focusing on building MembersPro to be the absolute best it can be. And then we're just thinking about things in a really creative manner. And then, we're slowly doing different touch points through, I mean, they mention us on their podcast almost every episode. There's like the slow touch points there just to sort of make MembersPro more well-known. And then when things are ready, it's just like, it's going to be like chucking fuel on the fire kind of thing.
That is really, really cool. I can't wait for your podcast. I'm excited for that. I've been waiting because you've been kind of teasing people about it for like the last few months, I remember. So I'm like,
I think it's been 6 months on my Facebook profile now.
I'm on edge. I'm like, come on, Chris, launch it already. And I bet you I'm not the only one. So everything that you've mentioned in your last, the question I asked you, do you think that's going to be relevant to growing and scaling as well for the future?
Yeah, look, I haven't properly scaled a business, to be honest with you. So not my own anyway. I think, what's going to happen is as we reach milestones, as we reach platform development points, I think it's just going to be a ploy of revisiting where we're going with marketing and how we're creating awareness around our platform. And then the different channels that we'll use to grow the business in a sustainable manner. Last year, we actually grew by 300% from the start of the year to the end of the year, which was fantastic. This year, we're aiming for at least 150 sort of, or 100 to 150%. But as we reach the different milestones, things sort of change. Business isn't static. It's quite dynamic in the way that you do things.
Yeah.
And so some things that we're thinking about preemptively is a couple of different offers that will help bridge the gap with education around MembersPro, and even certain strategic things that you can implement yourself in MembersPro, like upselling. We call it the Ascension model, which enables you to bring someone into your members area or your MembersPro in a sort of low ticket offer, and then basically upselling them into your core offer directly in the membership. And we've got some fantastic case studies around that specific model with, say, like 𝘃𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗄 as an example. She's used the Ascension model for 18 months now, and it's indirectly resulted in around $2 million plus in sales on the back end over time. So we're going to be implementing trainings around how to implement that yourself, alongside sort of package with the MembersPro software, so that anyone who comes through, they can get MembersPro and also the training on how to implement the Ascension model, and that goes hand in hand. So we're thinking about like different offers like that, and also partnering with different people who have courses and content around helping people be coaches as well, which obviously directly ties with MembersPro. So we're looking at different partners in that realm. And so, like I said, as things grow and as things develop, it's just going to be a process of like, who's going to be potentially a good fit for a JV partner, or who can help us achieve this, or what sort of training is going to be relevant to help people continue to use MembersPro or grow with MembersPro. And then, what are the different levels of people who we want to use MembersPro as well? That's a very big distinction. There's 3 different sort of avatars or groups of people that we identify as good fits for MembersPro. There's like the beginner. They're going to sort of need help with sales and marketing of their courses. There's the sort of established coach who has maybe made six figures or more with their courses. That's who we're going after right now. And then there's like the high level coach who's like 7+ figures, has multiple coaching programs, etc. They're also someone that we're going after, but we know that the high level people are going to be more of a direct contact. Like I would personally get connected with someone of Stacey's stature in Messenger or via email. I would jump on a personalized call with them. I'd walk through how MembersPro can potentially be better than their current solution. And that's going to be more of a higher touch sort of transition over to MembersPro versus like the middle tier, which can be done with or be onboarded with effective marketing and offers. And so that's sort of how we're looking at things overall.
Wow. Chris, I'm so impressed. Wow, this is so cool. Okay, so the podcast is about, obviously, like I mentioned before, really going behind the scenes to see what makes people successful. Also, there's quite a chunk of my audience that are still thinking about starting a business, and they're sitting on the fence and they're not exactly sure if this is something they should do, because we've all been there. I procrastinated for a very long time before I actually got going on it. What advice do you have for somebody that's sitting on the fence and they're thinking, well, crikey, I don't know if I can do this? What advice will you give them?
So I've got one of my favorite quotes of all time is you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. When I was in mining, reading books, that appeared to me about 3 or 4 different times across a few different books. And then I heard it from a few friends and things like that. And ultimately that really just struck a chord, because at the time I was spending all of my time with miners. I was spending all my time with people who were unhappy and depressed and really just hated what they were doing. So reading books was a big inspiration for me to see what other people are doing. And then joining email list was another way, or listening to a podcast was another way for me to start surrounding myself with 5 people who had success or who had a similar mindset to me. And so I would just say, like, if you're stuck or you're like still unsure, like join communities, join groups of like-minded people who are supportive and positive and are going to help you achieve the goals that you aspire to achieve. Starting a business is not an easy thing. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. It's harder than having a job by all means, but it's much more rewarding over time. It's going to be hard as heck to start. It's going to be hard in the first few years, I promise you.
That's true.
If any type of business it's really hard to start. Like it's very hard. But if you have the will and determination, if you're surrounded by people who have your back and who have a positive message to share with you and are there to support you, then that's going to make the hard period a little bit easier. It's going to help you stay on track with what you're wanting to accomplish. And ultimately, you're going to develop yourself and your business into something that's going to be successful, that can reward you and your family for a very long time.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
That is amazing advice, guys. And it's so true, because when I started out, it was the same thing. I was not, I didn't have surroundings with people that was unmotivated and stuff, but it's just not, I live in a small town. The town that I live in is like 2,000 people. So it's not, there's not really much going on here. So the physical surroundings, you only have that much. And that's exactly what I did. Read books, listen to podcasts, find people on YouTube that really inspired me, got a mentor, because that's the other big one that really worked for me as well, is to get that mentor. Yeah. Chris?
So my mentor was the person who I did my internship with. And that was a really big gap for me. And then even just working for someone in the business space and then being connected with other people who were 7+ figure entrepreneurs as well, that really just helped me accelerate my sort of what was possible. It helped me see what was possible at a faster rate. So definitely communities, definitely get a mentor, a coach, work for someone for free. Like I said, if it's for your own business or not, just work for someone for free, someone who you are inspired by, and that's going to help accelerate your journey much more faster than if you're trying to do it by yourself. And, I'm here in my home office. I don't have anyone whose business around me physically, but I have so many friends online and I have so many people that I'm connected with daily. And that ultimately helps me, achieve more things overall.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. And that's what I do as well. It really is. It's just follow Chris's advice. Where can people reach you? Where can they reach out to you and say, Chris, I need you. I need your memberships, bro. Come help me out. Where can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So chris@memberspro.com is my email address. If you want to email me personally. To sign up for MembersPro, it's memberspro.com. And Joy, do you want to have a coupon code for that page?
That would be amazing. And then we can, get people enticed in there. Should we drop it in the bottom of the description when we? Cool.
We'll have a coupon code for MembersPro in the podcast description. TBA. So yeah, that's the best place to sign up for the program. If you have any questions, email me. I'm there. And alternatively, you can find me on Facebook. Chris Benetti. I think I'm one of the only few Chris Benettis. You'll notice me straight away because I have a floating head as my display picture. It's very unique. No one does that. So that's a very easy, distinct way to distinguish me from other people. If you friend request me, please send me a message as well, because I don't generally just accept friend requests. I need something to go alongside that. I need you to know that you listen to me on Joy's podcast, and I'll absolutely accept you straight away, and then we can start a conversation. You can ask me any questions at all in there as well. And at the end of the day, like I said, MembersPro is here to support you and your members. So if there's anything I can do to help in that journey, I'm here to help.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. This has been absolutely fantastic. You've got so much knowledge. I love listening to you. Thank you so very much. And you must have a great day, and we'll catch up soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Joe.
Cheers.